There needs to be a rival organization to the NRA of responsible gun owners who know that their hunting rights,
Moms demand action.
They're collecting rights. All of that is not going to be affected. So I'm going to keep beating the drum, and I'm delighted that the president announced the actions he did today.
All right, Hillary is delighted at the president's executive action on guns. Here with reaction, Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clarke, Fox News contributor Katie Pavlich, and former NYPD Detective Bo Dietl. Sheriff, let me start with you. It, to me, is a very simple equation. The #1 best advocate for gun sales in America has become this president. And if Hillary wants to wrap her arms around illegal, unconstitutional executive actions on this, I think it hurts her in the campaign. Thoughts?
Well, first of all, there is a rival group to the National Rifle Association. It's called the Democratic Party. And as far as President Obama and Mrs. Bill Clinton, they are anti-gun bigots. They are utterly intolerant to anybody else's view when it comes to, other than their own, when it comes to the Second Amendment, the shooting sports, and self-defense. But you watch, by next summer, she'll be photographed walking around in a field like she's hunting, participating in the shooting sports, with a gun resting on her shoulder, probably holding it upside down because she doesn't know what she's doing with it anyway. Look, if you want to reduce violence, and the president knows this, you target criminals. You do not target otherwise law-abiding citizens, and you don't make them have to go jump through hoops and a higher threshold to exercise their Second Amendment rights. But Sean, if he goes after the real perpetrators of violence in America, he would have to target the underclass young black male and who disproportionately is involved in all this violence, and he doesn't want to do that.
Let me read from the AP, Katie Pavlich. They said that what the president announced would not have prevented the slaughters of 20 first graders at Sandy Hook Elementary or 14 county workers at a holiday party in San Bernardino, and it would have had no impact in keeping weapons from the hands of suspects in several of the deadliest recent mass shootings that have occurred that have resulted and spurred these calls for more gun control. So they're really feel-good legislation. It's not going to do anything.
It's not going to do anything, and it really is disappointing because the president has an opportunity here to work with organizations like the NRA who have actually done a lot of significant work when it comes to actually keeping guns out of the hands of criminals. You know, Hillary Clinton can attack the NRA all she wants. The fact is that the NRA has a higher approval rating than Hillary Clinton does when it comes to trustworthiness, that's for sure. And the bottom line is that the NRA really has done work in the past with previous presidents in terms of getting mental health legislation on the books to make sure people who are mentally ill cannot get their hands on firearms. This is about grandstanding for Hillary Clinton. It's about grandstanding for Barack Obama, and it really is a shame. And the bottom line is if the president really wants to keep guns out of the hands of criminals, maybe his Justice Department should stop releasing felons, many of which are illegal immigrants, onto the streets of America. They can start there.
You know, the president cries here, Bo. And I remember the president, remember that guy got beheaded, James Foley?
Yeah.
Yeah. He gives a quick 30-second comment and races off. He didn't want to miss his tea time.
But I'm really glad about one thing. I'm glad the president watches your show. It's the first time that the president mentioned Chicago in any of his speeches.
Second time.
About the kids dying in Chicago. Furthermore, on top of it, I mean, we're letting people out of jail on these drug things, these A1 felonies and all that across the country. A lot of these drug dealers were involved with murders and guns. That's where the problem is. And if this president wanted to do an executive order, like I said on your show many times, get the FBI, the ATF together, and let's get into our inner cities, formulate task force to take those illegal guns off the street, not honest gun owners like of the Second Amendment and people that want to protect themselves. Because I tell you right now, when the ISIS comes to this country, we have 300,000 weapons, 300 million weapons out there, and we're going to protect ourselves. And ISIS is not going to shoot me. I'm not going to put my head down, get on my knees, and get my head chopped off. I'm going to have my 9mm, and I'm going to do what I got to do.
I'm going to have my 40 and my AR. Sheriff Clarke, if you're in San Bernardino and God forbid somebody's there, if I'm in that room, I want a Sheriff Clarke there that's armed, or a Bo Dietl that's armed, or a Katie Pavlich or Sean Hannity armed. And I don't understand why people don't understand that. That's simple to me. It's common sense.
Sure it is. Look, I want as many law-abiding citizens to arm themselves in this country as we can get, so that I have the partner that I need to beat back this sort of violence. And in these mass shooting situations, you're right. The great equalizer is a law-abiding citizen in that situation. with a firearm that can take action, because when seconds count, the police are usually minutes away.
Yeah.
You know,
All right,
there's
guys,
so many
real quick.
officers, so many cops across this country who are retired. They see a cop pull a car over, they pull over, they let them know, hey, I'm retired from the job, and you're watching over that cop. And that's what we have, and we have other good law-abiding citizens that would stand up for the people of America.
All right, guys, thank you all for being with us.